Hello, and welcome to Spiritual Cuisine on Cam. I'm your host, Dr. Assata Haki. Today, we're going to continue on with part two of speaking on Black lives from a spiritual perspective. Today, I have a guest, Trevon Parker.
How you doing today?
And what we're going to do is share just a little bit of our experiences as Black people living our Black lives in a world full of hate, a world that says that or tries to declare that we don't have a place and that we don't belong, and how we have allowed ourselves to push past all that the system has created or has designed for us to fail as Black people. There's a possibility to succeed if you have the faith in yourself, the trust in God, and the self-determination to push forward to become what you have in your heart to become. All right, so we're going to start off with some questions. I would like for Trevon to kind of give us a little insight on his recent successes. So recently you graduated from high school?
Yes, ma'am. I graduated from high school on time. When I first started high school, I was a little troubled. I wasn't on the right track at all. I was, skipping school, wasn't paying attention, getting in trouble in and out of school. So I was just basically overgrowing my age before it was time.
Okay, so kind of when we are children and we're doing adult activities and carrying on as adults when we have yet to reach that point of our lives, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I have a couple of questions. As a young Black brother, what are you aware of in regards to what they call societal traps? And what I mean by societal traps are the things that make us feel like we're oppressed, the things that the so-called oppressors have designed around the world, that is to trap all those who are quote unquote Black lives or quote unquote just poor, because it has to do with the haves and the have-nots. And part of the have-nots, the world have declared that Black people are part of the have-nots. So what are you aware of when it comes to so-called designs of oppression to keep us down as Black people?
Well, automatically is the color, the discussion about color on a daily basis. It's always been a problem, and everybody knows it's been a problem, but people try to cover it up just for their visual of their self to the world, to the people out who see them in the community. They don't want to seem like it's a problem to them, but personally they go home and talk all they want, about the race is disgusting and they're not going to succeed. And really, from my understanding, I understand that as a Black man, that it's going to be even more harder task to complete a goal, but it's not impossible because we have Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black congressmen. With that being said, we have female Black doctors, female congressmen that's Black. We have female judges that's Black, police officers. So with this being said, it shouldn't be any race. It don't matter what your race is. It shouldn't matter what others say. It's not an excuse to sit or get depressed by what you hear, or you're less of a person because you're Black, or you can't do this because you're Black. That don't mean nothing. That's just skin. That's all it is. It's to choose. It's what you want to choose to put your skin in. What do you want to represent when people see your skin?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see another black person, I want to be like, oh yeah, that's a black person, strong, educated. But as in certain situations of living, as far as community wise, Detroit, the city that we live in, is a lot of murder and corruptedness in the police justice system. So it is a lot harder to succeed, but it's not impossible.
Mm. And I want to kind of like share in on what this young man has shared with us, that is not impossible. Some of the things that, and I call this surviving the maze of oppression. Okay, so I just jotted down a few little notes. So I am a black woman, and it is designed that as a black woman that all you are here to do is make babies, be on welfare, and to live in the so-called ghetto. Okay, that I was aware of. I was aware of the fact that I was born and raised in a family that had its own issues based on how they were uh, conditioned from where when they were born and how they were raised. A lot of us did not have the education, and so it carried on from great great grandmas and great great grandfathers of not being able to have the education, and so you went to work. So a lot of education was missed, and of course the system is not really truly designed for a lot of people really to succeed. So it's really miseducation, but you got to go within yourself to really find that. And with God and the ancestors, you will be able to see clearly. Okay, so with the dysfunctional family, and then it's a bunch of welfare. And so I know that the welfare system was set up for me to be able to utilize, but also to become entrapped, right? So I'm a black woman. I have children, and so I need the system. And because the system only give you just enough, and but not enough, and then you still need to go out and get a job. As soon as you go out and get a job, then they want to cut you off the system, which makes it still an imbalance in being able to provide for you and your family. So that becomes the trap. But to survive the maze of oppression of welfare, to survive the maze of oppression as a black woman coming up or being raised in a dysfunctional family, is to go in yourself and you have to find God. So God can show you why God allowed you to be born and to continue to exist. And being a single mom, you got the black man who falls for the trap, and then he too has his own mental issues. So he is not there for his children and cannot be there for his woman. And so therefore we fall under the single mom category. And so yet at the same time, it did not stop me as a black single mom, because it made me more determined. It had nothing to do with him being black and him being a man. It had to do with the fact that I'm here and I have children and I have to provide for them. So I wasn't caring about the system. The system was used when the system was needed. However, I always sought education and training in order to find employment to be able to provide for my children. Yes, it's a struggle because of the way the oppression maze is designed, but the whole thing is not to let it stop you and to keep you from moving forward. So it doesn't matter if you're a black single mother who was raised in a dysfunctional family and who was on welfare or is on welfare, and having a black man that walks out of your life and is not there does not hold you down. It does not keep you back, and it does not keep you from moving forward. It is only our own thinking and belief that keeps us back. And with that, I would like to go back to Tre'von. Does spirituality play any part in your walk on your journey of life?
Yes, ma'am, it does. Excuse the ums. It takes a lot of prayer to overcome what I overcome. It wasn't just walking that just helped me do it. I needed I need some type of spiritual connection to God to be able to overcome and find light in dark spots in my life that I was creating for myself. I was breaking light bulbs in my own room. If you get the terminology, I'm basically saying I was burning my own bridges. I was just just didn't care, just whatever, whoever. And then I had to, as things started coming back, because you always reap what you sow. Whatever you put out to the world, that's what they gonna give it back to you. You never know how they gonna give it back to you.
That's true.
But they did come back to me. So when it came back to me, it was on me to take it how I wanted. I could either take that and keep continuing down that road, and eventually it was gonna lead up to I don't know what, but I know it wasn't gonna lead up to something. It wasn't gonna be roses and daisies. It was gonna be just it was gonna be a horrible destruction road.
Kind of like tragic.
Tragic.
Okay. And I turned back to myself. As the young man said, it took God. Yes, we can walk our path because that's what we're doing. However, you need that divine guidance, because the divine guidance, or let's say the divinity, is what is in you that created you to be here, to live a life, to serve a purpose. So you have to consult with your creator in order to understand the path that you are walking, the path that you have been placed on, to come to understand why God has allowed you to be here. We learn through our lessons. The young man here, Trevon Parker, thank God, he learned from his lessons, but it took him to really become sincere in his prayers, that he was able to hear the divine voice from within to actually show him. And as he was able to begin to see the crack of light, then he was able to find that light path and begin to walk upon it, which allowed him to graduate from high school and on time. After 3 years of like zoop, he was able to come back with a vengeance, with himself, against himself, and to have victory. And not only that, the young man made it to 18. Now, a lot of our young men, black young men, have made it to the age of 18. So he's blessed. And so we give thanks to God and the ancestors for the blessing upon his life. So becoming aware and remaining aware of all of the things that lies in the maze of oppression. You can survive by being aware of God, knowing your creator, of course, knowing yourself, because to knowing yourself, you're knowing God, and being aware and staying aware. Understand your bloodline, where you grew up from, where they grew up from. And if you would like to go any further, just Sankofa, which is to return from which you come from, and fetch that was, so you can understand who you are and where you're going. And also, be aware of what's going on in the world, yes, but also understand the true power, the true source that is over all evil, over all goodness, over all peace and calamity, and that is God. And so today we just wanted to share our Black experience as Black people in regards to what's going on. If you become aware of self, become aware of God, then you too can overcome and survive the maze of oppression. So before we go, would you like to give a little word or two of advice to any young person that may come across this video?
To my Black males, please be safe out here in the streets. The streets don't love you at all. You're gonna keep hearing that during life. They don't. It's nothing out here for you. The drug business is not. It's not gonna be a healthy business. It's not gonna. You're not gonna retire with a pension or 401k. And stealing. Breaking into houses or carjacking. Anything that it can bring you a reward at the time, but later on bring you deadly consequences or time away from the world, then it's not worth it. It's not worth having your life taken away for 5, 10, 15 years.
And how can God and the ancestors help?
Pray. Pray. Talk to them. Be serious about the prayer. Don't just say, God, please help me. Amen. You gotta talk to him. He's a person. Just like us, he's a spirit. Talk to him, he will talk back to you.
Okay. Well, with that, we both agree that prayer is powerful, prayer works, and prayer also works to help you through this maze of oppression that we call the world. There's a lot of traps out here, but you don't have to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. As long as you open your eyes and become aware. And what makes you aware is through the eyes of God that lives in you and through you as you. For the breath that you breathe is the Spirit of God. And so I leave you with peace and blessings of love and light. And so we say, Namaste,
Namaste.
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 This has been Spiritual Cuisine on Cam. Black Lives from Black Life Experience. Until next time, be blessed. I'm Dr. Assata Haki.
And I'm Trevon Parker.